Ciao everyone, Ariel here, and as you can see, I swallowed a basketball. I swallowed a watermelon. I swallowed an no, I didn't swallow anything. There's a baby in here and it's about to come out. If you've been watching for a long time, you know that I live with and manage a chronic health issue, and I am really afraid of how all this is gonna go down in the postpartum period, because two of the biggest triggers for disabling fatigue and total relapse for me are sleep loss and stress. And let's, like KIR about babies, hi, sleep loss and stress, that's what it is. The man dude and I have been talking a lot about how we're gonna manage this time, and I'm sure that we will, and it will go down however it goes down. But I've had to make the extremely difficult decision to pause on creating cooking videos for you. However, this does not mean I won't be in touch. I will be in touch, and I'm going to tell you much more about how you can stay in touch with me so that you still receive the stream of recipes, inspiration, and stories I plan to share in the time that I'm taking off from producing cooking videos. I wanted to tell you, though, a little bit of history about the channel. 2 years ago when I started it, my original intention was to help people living with chronic illness. And if I'm super keeping it real with all of you, I have done that a little bit in the Cooking with Chronic Illness series. That's a playlist on my channel. And I've talked a little bit about that in these videos, and it pops up here and there. But I've ended up focusing a lot more on the food and the cooking. And that's fine. Food and diet are a huge part of what maintains my lifestyle and my daily functionality, and I've talked a lot about that. But they're not the only things. In 2015, my goal is to expand my recipes to include all of what is encapsulated by the definition of the word recipe. So the way we usually use it, and the first meaning of the word recipe, is a blueprint or set of instructions for making something, usually a food dish, although not always, which I think is interesting. The second is a method to attain a desired end. A method to attain a desired end, pretty interesting. And the third is an archaic usage, which I love. It's a medical prescription. And I love that because it gets at the idea of food as medicine. And the great father of medicine, Hippocrates, always said, let food be thy medicine and medicine thy food. So a recipe literally used to be a medical prescription. Super cool. And so along those lines, my recipes in 2015 and beyond are going to include all of those definitions. So I'm going to be sending you out ingredients and instructions for what I'm calling the art of living well, especially when and even if you're chronically ill or you're sick and your body seems to be broken. I will still be sending food recipes and doing cooking videos when I return, but that's not the only thing that I'm going to do. So what is this going to look like? That's a great question. And how can you be included if you want to be? At the end of last year, I started including more storytelling into my videos, and I've gotten a lot of feedback from you guys that you love that. And so if you choose to join me, week after week, I'm going to take you on the journey of how I went from extremely physically ill, completely disabled, not functioning, in a wheelchair when I left the house, if I left the house, crawling to the bathroom, we're talking bad, to where I am now and where I've been in the last 2 years, where you see me week after week. I have my down times, but making videos, living this swoon heavenly life that I love, cooking, generally functioning, managing, and taking care of myself. I am so happy, and I think that that comes across. The joy and the happiness and the love of what I do is just so powerful for me. And I want to take you all on the journey and tell you the story of how I went from pretty hopeless and feeling pretty helpless and having lost almost everything in my life to having created this whole new life that is better and healthier than I ever could have imagined it was before I got sick. And if it's even remotely possible for me to have the man dude's help to set up the cam so I can introduce you to the little cookie that's coming, I totally will. So, how do you get in on the story? How do you stay in touch with me while I'm not producing cooking videos? Great question. If you're already subscribed to my newsletter, then you will just flow into that pattern, and now you know the change is coming and that's what it's going to be. And if you're not, then subscribing to my newsletter through my website is the way to do it. But here's a really exciting thing. Having had this on my mind for most of the year, I've been working on building a brand new website. It's much easier to remember. It's just my name, AriyeleRessler.com. You can still access everything the way you did before, linked in the description box below. I'm hopefully going to have it linked through all the videos. And even if you're watching this video now and you're like, I want to know from the beginning, I missed it, you can join the newsletter and you'll get the sequence, and I'll make it easy for you to figure out how you can go back and catch up and then start from the moment so that you can be included on the journey from the very start. I'm super excited about the website. I've built it myself. I know it's janky. If there's any incredible web people out there that want to give me a huge hookup deal on getting some of the design elements more straightened out, I would love that. But through this website, we're going to be a lot more focused and simplified. We're going to do food and body stuff, yummy recipes, swoon heavenly yumminess, as we've always done. And we're going to add to that some tips for and recipes for living with chronic illness as well as spirituality. And listen, y'all know me. Ain't nothing going to change when it comes to my style, my vibe, my personality, and my freak flag. I cannot help but fly that puppy high. So that means when I say spirituality, we're not talking about hippy-dippy, woo-woo-y, crunchy granola, let's all have dreadlocked hugs with socks and sandals in a circle kind of thing, though I do love that. We're talking about keeping it real spirituality, the real here and now, the life that we're living now, the fact that we're human and there's all kinds of gnarliness that comes along with that. Don't run away scared when you hear that word, okay? Because we're going to keep it real. That's always what we do. Ariel, keeping it real. That's what we do. Before I leave, I have one question for you, which is that I would love to know your #1 struggle living your life in a daily way with chronic illness, if you have one. I know that a lot of people watch who don't, but a lot of people watch who do. Obviously, if you're living gluten, dairy, allergy-free, there's probably a good reason why you're not eating those things. So could be chronic illness, could not be. But if you are chronically ill, what is your #1 struggle? I would love to hear from you. And if you're not, and you feel like this is still resonant for you, like, the art of living well, what does that mean? I'm intrigued. What is your #1 struggle in the art of living well, in the sense that you're happy and you feel at peace with your life no matter what is going down? No matter how crazy or chaotic, no matter what seems to be working or not working. In this case, we're talking about bodies and their functioning, but all of us have stress and struggle. So I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. Lastly, thank you so much for understanding that I need to take this time to take care of myself and my body, to meet this baby and see who this person is, and to create some room for myself around this transition so that I can be as healthy as possible and give room for what very well may happen, which is that I could have a relapse period. And that's something that I knew going into it. And so your understanding and love in this, and the fact that you're still on board to hang in there with me, I really, really appreciate. I feel like I'm not one of those classic bloggers that I couldn't, with my health, I couldn't like get everything pre-scheduled and film everything in advance. It's just not the way my life is. And it's one of the things I've had to accept. So a pause and a break is what is on the roster for me, and I'm grateful to all of you for understanding and sticking by me in this time. And in the meantime, like I said, I hope you join me for this journey. So sign up through my newsletter to be included, to receive recipes for the art of living well. I hope these 3 months, or however long it is, are amazing to you, and I'll see you when I'm back. Ciao.